roster too with SDE and a Hooligan coming in. We didn't really see any crazy play from SDE at all. It was, of course, missing adaptation, lacks the damage from the back line. They were all Genji is not a burst hero. Of course, later on with the Swift Strike, maybe he can, but also Lunara is based damage over time. With adaptation, with longer fights, it can only favor them. I can't really follow the thought process of isolation. I think maybe they were looking for isolation onto Uther, really not letting him give Divine Shield onto the perfect target. I think that was the thought process, but to think about the entire team, I think adaptation could have been a lot better choice.
The Battlefield of Eternity will be our map for game number 2, chosen by Tempest.
Malthael is the name we're gonna call.
Banned.
Let's see. Battlefield of Eternity. Well, it's Tempest's pick, so L5 will have the first ban. They may actually leave it open. This time, let's see how they want to approach the ban picks. It is BOE.
Okay. First ban for L5. They will definitely not ban the Malthael here. They will let Tempest do that, so if they can take it. Unless they want to take the MVP Black strat where they don't, even though it's available, they don't take it, then they get it and win the game. Crush it. It's a hero that you can't allow through the draft. If you doubt me, then go back and watch the VOD of Black versus Blossom, where it was one of the most one-sided games we've ever seen in terms of this map and the objective.
Yeah, 6 billion people in this world knows that you cannot let Malthael through the first ban phase.
Yeah, like, even like newborn infants. Like I've heard recently there's been an uprising of like first words of children around the world saying ban, and everyone didn't know why, but they just didn't have a second. They struggled to say the second word Malthael. It's a little bit harder of a word for them to say, but everyone knows newborn children. Dogs like sees the Malthael hover and he gets a little bit scared, whimpers, lies under the table. The world knows. They leave it open. Let's find out. This is so weird. 2 for 2. I almost just want to like take a step back and be like, are we wrong here?
Unless you really figured out like the hard 100% counter to Malthael though.
Because it seems like other heroes over Malthael. Anub'arak has been prioritized in the last time that Blossom did not take Malthael. They took Anub'arak instead. Anub'arak, Uther, these heroes still prioritized over Malthael even on this map. But now it's scary because you're like, oh, what do I give him? Sorry, I just give him Malthael, then what are we going to do? So yeah, it's a scary idea to not take it.
It's a tough pick. There are so many S tiers like Uther as a support, Anub'arak as a tank. There are lots of picks available for the first one. You also have to think about the second and third pick that's going to come around you right after. So they go with the safe pick, Tassadar. Really hiding everything else though.
Well, it's going to deny Malthael plus Tassadar, which is what we saw MVP Black draft earlier today. So that combination is right out. If they don't take it here, then I think we have to reassess Malthael's priority on this map. I think we have to take a step back and say, even though we were making the jokes about everyone knows, but we have to take a step back. If Tempest does not pick it up here, I think we need more data.
It's because the coordination from these teams are real. You can if Malthael gets focused, it's kind of squishy. It does have lots of sustain, but with all the CCs, maybe even with like 2 CCs with the burst, with Greymane, Cursed Bullet, with just Tassadar damage with Archon, I think that's enough to take him out. So really, without the protection, without the shielding or Zarya or Tassadar, I think it's somewhat questionable right now in Korean team.
Well, they pick it anyways. With what though? Is it just going to be the Uther pick? High chance. There it is. So Malthael, Uther will come out here, and you'll have with this the protection of Uther to help keep Malthael alive. He obviously gets passive armor from Uther's heals, but we'll get the armor later on when he uses his Tormented Souls.
Here we go.
So I think this was, again, I feel like we're being a little bit judgmental, and I have to even criticize myself for this.
L5 can still go for their favorite Valacom. Their favorite Valacom, Tassadar, Ario, Vala. I think that's a very solid option against Malthael. Of course, may lose the...
It's going to be Tracer. Instead. This was hovered, actually, in the match on BOE against Black.
So summer skin?
They took the Tracer away, if I remember correctly. That's like the one piece of data that's missing on my sheet, so I can't remember. But Tassadar was definitely hovered at least by Blossom when we saw the Malthael Tassadar pick up for MVP Black in the previous best of 5. Tass Tracer, an old favorite, seen both L5 and MVP Black use it. MVP Black definitely more proficient at using it historically. And it's going to be very harassment-based. Malthael
That's right.
doesn't really have any escapes. Tracer's not going to stick around. She's going to look for the Pulse Bomb. That's where she's going to be sticking.
Yep.
And that's the idea with this one.
Because Malthael is a melee. Tracer has that range. If Tracer is allowed to keep all that range around Malthael, can keep on harassing the back line from the side. Of course, also the solo laning. So I think Tracer pick is a very soft counter. Let's see into the game where we actually have H82 very likely to be playing on Malthael, can hit on those strats, E skills, and teleport with the W and catch on to Tracer, because it's somewhat of a damage, but it's mostly the percent damage. So Tracer can actually live through for a long time against Malthael.
Also, Malthael is a melee hero, right? So you have the fact that he just will struggle to get in to hit Tracer. His E is a skill shot that's very slow, so her mobility kind of counters him in that way if they ever meet in the battlefield where Malthael is going to be in the solo lane, right? So they need to be really coordinated, communicating when Tracer is rotating up, when she has Pulse Bomb. These are going to be very important tactics. Also remember that Tracer has a very low health pool, so Malthael's bonus damage, his trait, is not really going to affect her as much as it's going to affect other heroes. So the ideas here are strong. My biggest concern is not the solo lane, though, for Malthael, or how much damage he's going to do to Tracer. It's about the Immortal fight. Will they be coordinated enough to get picks with Tracer in these Immortal fights? They're going to have to dive hard. And I think that Tempest is probably going to pick up the Tyrael here defensively. Now they've got Greymane. And wouldn't even shock me if we see the 5th pick Arthas, and you just have this insane anti-dive comp. And how is L5 going to make the Tracer pick work against that is the big question.
Yeah, all they need is just one more CC. Of course, Anubarak is banned, but they can bring up something like Stitches or anything with the CC, with even the ETC. I think it's an okay against Tracer to have Tracer on the CC. The second ban, Ariel ban coming out from Alpha, was very, very surprising for me. It's questionable. It's okay because Uther, if you have Malthael on the soloing on the other side, and the 4 on the defense, having Uther, of course, with lots of cooldown will lack in sustain. Maybe they were considering about the 2 supports, really thinking ahead. Seems like a very weak ban, is what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying, and I actually agree with you too. I think the idea was afraid that Tempest was going to pick the Vala, and you have like the similar comp where we saw Mighty with the Vala 4-man lane. Diva was a solo lane. In this case, it would be Malthael. Then you have the strong 4-man push, and you have Malthael just sitting in the solo lane destroying, or sitting on top of the Immortal destroying. So I think that was a reasonable choice, but definitely not the strongest one. As we see Li Ming coming out, which is always a good follow-up when you have this comp where you need to dive, and then you get a slight lead, and you poke the Immortal down. You've got the Tracer harass coming in. They steal Arthas away. I think Tempest was heavily considering the Arthas.
So they literally went anti-sustain because they only have Uther, ban Ariel, because they can poke from the side from far away. Tracer can harass from a long time with Tassadar with mode protection. I think L5 has a very good team with pokes and the range damage coming out from Tracer and the protection and a solid tank from Arthas. I like this strat from L5.
No cleanse with this we're on this current patch of the Malfurion, so I wonder if they're going to look for some additional CC here. Stitches is still available, so Stitches could be a great pick here. Hard to hit most of the heroes on L5. They've got a lot of escapes. Arthas and Malfurion will be your big targets. Otherwise, it could just be a Johanna pick for the blinds on Tracer. Going to be Abathur. So this one is for the Greymane. This is going to be a Malthael that probably roams mostly with Tempest in the bot lane in the 4-man. It's not going to be the solo lane Malthael. It's going to be the Abathur up there for most of the time, getting that extra soak, doing the poke. And when Malthael comes in, or there's gank attempts when he is temporarily in the solo lane, that's when we're going to see the Abathur symbiotes come out, the protection. This is a really cool draft on the side of Tempest. The draft of L5 feels, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it feels really risky and all in.
Yep.
But guys, we're going into game number 2 right now, Battlefield of Eternity. We'll see you in the Nexus. L5, Hooligan on Arthas, SC on Tracer, Jungha on Tastar, SDE on Li Ming, and Swoi on Malfurion.
In red, Tempest, Hide on Uther, on Con on Greymane, Lockdown on Avatar, Sign on Tyrael, and H82 on Malthael.
Let's see the laning setup here. I'm really curious to see how they're going to make this happen. Looks like they're going to do the 4-man top, the Abathur bot defense for now, who can symbiote. It's going to be Jungha who defends top, so we'll have the extra shields for the structures, but it's not going to be too much defense here. And obviously with Honkono being able to just press W, it's going to be pretty good for him. He can get a second one too, because he's built into the W at level 1, which he always does, Wolfheart. So this is a pretty big win, I would say, overall for Tempest. But as you can see, both teams getting both towers, which is the most important part. That's where the EXP is. You don't get the EXP from the wall. But you can see, like, look at how much more quickly Tempest is able to even dive in here. This race is definitely a win for them. Abathur just moves back to be safe, and they're going to get the fort first.
Oh, it's not a core race. Feels bad to not see core race coming out at all from Korea. But in terms of Immortal race, L5 is looking for that sustained, continuous poke. But Tempest, all they have to do is send one hero and let the other 4, I guess 3 technically, just defending their Immortal, and that's going to be enough for them to take their entire Immortal by himself. Malthael is about as broken as he can be on this map.
Well, I mean, you said it's not a core race, but Tempest is trying to prove you otherwise. They do end up getting the fort eventually in the bot lane, so gonna get it, which is important. But like Tempest got much more soak from this. They got the extra EXP, and they got the fort first. I feel like the way that L5 handled this wasn't as good as what Tempest did, but kind of got stuck in an awkward position. It's very difficult with how Heroes of the Storm works and Hearth timers and things like that to actually switch. Like when you're in that situation, it's hard to be like, oh, I guess we should just go defend. You can't really do that. You kind of get stuck. So that's why we had the trade. So Malthael is pretty good. Only going to win it by 1K here, but it was actually with a late rotation over. We'll see if they can get a better setup this time. SC diving in pretty aggressively.
Coming in for the defense, and of course, without so much protection, and it's also on the other side actually, so it's helping L5 a lot. Because Malthael has to go all the way around, if not the entire team. Even these pokes are doing so much damage.
Yeah, but they have Li Ming, which is really nice. Li Ming can just sit over here and damage this Immortal while the dive is real. So we will have to see the reaction eventually here from Tempest to go in. Honkono is the one who gets the first kill here. She gets shielded. Gets an extra armor coming out from the Uther. Parting Gift going to help secure the kill here for SC. Going to be a 2-for-1 though. Will Hyde survive? Just for the dive there. Gets the self-heal, and Sign goes in to secure this one with H82. Burning this down. They take a 2K lead in these Immortals. Looks like they're just going to win it outright. 6K shields in advantage. This was not the one-sided draft advantage for Tempest that MVP Black had with the Malthael earlier. But you can see the dive is just not quite enough with the extra Abathur protection, the Tyrael protection, Uther's extra armor. They're having a tough time.
Yeah, it's very hard to distribute the perfect amount of resource for the defense and the offense. And I think L5 did okay with that, just having SDE on the Immortal, but of course Tracer limiting is not really having her damage too much at the beginning of the game, is costing a little bit. And also Malthael on that Immortal is just crazy percent damage.
Well, they eventually get this wall down. No one actually soaking mid right now. Top. Abathur's down here in the bot lane, and they have the rest of the 4. So 5-man push for Tempest. No one getting any advantages top because the fort is down. They want to commit to a fight here, but L5 actually answers very well, and SC will be stunned here. Was looking for the pick back there on Honkono, who is about to have Wisdom Duelist at level 7. Doesn't quite have it yet. Now Lockdown slides in up here to get the extra EXP. Doing some soak and chill. And interestingly, they give up this bot neutral camp to go up to look for the top one. Jungha knows Abathur is somewhat nearby. Sees the toxic nest. Is actually going to go up and try to punish him, I think, but this could cost him big. He definitely doesn't want to overextend. Okay, looks like he just wants to get this wave, but a risky proposition.
And also, this bottom lane without the fort will be super pressured, so knowing that they're making this fast, quick rotation before the next Immortal spawns, shot calling, of course, for L5 SDE is, as they mentioned in the interview, it's not so completed as Jungha said, or SCSC said during the interview. So let's see how they can respond against very good macros are coming out from Tempest already in this small map.
So everything kind of settles down for a minute. The game is still very even. There's no massive scale advantages right now for either team. Just that I worry for L5, the consistency with which they're, or rather the lack of consistency with their dive against Tempest when they have a gray main, insane damage, and as Wiz and Duelist stacks come in here for Hongkong, it gets even more damage. The Abathur, the attack speed that comes in with that. I worry because if they cannot get consistent picks with this draft, they will never win a race. They will never win anything burning. The Li Ming pick doesn't really give them value here for that reason because they need to go in deep. They do get the grab here, though, and there's the pulse bomb going off onto Sign. Looks like he may be the first to fall. Gets him again with the parting gift. HGC wants to turn this around. The expiration of Tyrael's trait will get the kill. Can they find more here with the Abathur? Doesn't look like it. They're going to back away.
They're looking for more. SC is getting the kills, and Hongkong seems to be the next target. He wants to bring out a kill with the Abathur coming in, but there's not enough damage.
Pulse bomb.
Another pulse bomb already.
It was so well done by Hyde to keep him alive. He does not lose his stacks, which is very critical with how he's been building this. You lose a lot of extra splash damage with this build. You don't have that extra burst power, that slow, extra sustained damage from the cocktails. You're looking for the big burst with auto attacks with this one. You're looking for the big kills. And if you die, it's all for nothing and your entire build is wasted. It feels like you're just vanilla gray main without even a talent choice if you build this way and you die. Super risky.
I like this more, having even Li Ming just full team fight. They had to win the team fight before doing any damage to the opponent Immoral. All they needed was the Li Ming damage at the very end, and bringing Li Ming really helped in that team fight.
Good dodge by by Sign, not the same for H82. They're about to hit 10 though, so L5 needs to be careful about extending this far. Suddenly you have Tormented Souls popped here when they have 10, and this is going to be a fight turned around immediately. Top lane pressure actually massively in favor of Tempest right now as well. Keep that in mind as we go into this fight.
Also, the positioning of Immortal is favoring L5 a little bit more because they have the range pokes.
They're massively winless, but 10 is up now. We'll see if Tempest wants to contest. Heavy commitment in. HA2 goes for
Judgment.
The swing back.
They would go all in on Tracer, I guess.
That's one way to lock down that zippy hero.
With double gray main.
See what Tempest, what L5 does here. They don't have heroics. Will they try to backdoor the Immortal with Tracer, or are they going to try to dive in? Very difficult to do. They're sending out the Li Ming poke, but that's all they have. And suddenly, with just the level 10 advantage, all that extra soak coming out from Abathur, the extra EXP they've gotten all game long will give them 10. And even though they were down 15k shields, they're able to turn this around in an instant. They've got Greymane. They've got two Greymanes, basically, with the extra bonus damage coming out from the Abathur clone. You've got Malthael, and you could just flip this around in 1 second, and L5 just wasn't willing to contest. They see the Judgment pick too. They know it's a little bit more difficult even with that.
Now this is scary. That they are targeting one with Judgment. They can even go into Judgment with Malfurion before the Ice Block, or Li Ming to take out Li Ming's all burst damage before anything happens.
Abathur clone available here now too. Definitely going to be a fiery battle that we're about to witness here. Immortal is not going to get the keep, but gets the fort. And the keep wall is taken out in top, so they just kind of left the Immortal to do its own devices. Committed to the keep wall top. So got value on both lanes for the next Immortal they're hoping to win. When you have a composition like this, oh, that's not SC is jumped upon here. There's the follow-up stun. He had to use recall immediately. And the follow-up stun was almost enough.
Yeah, all the blinks. The recall was very quick, reacted perfectly actually. Did not get the stun. It seemed like the follow-up stun could have been perfect for the kill, but SCSC with all the blinks available, he had it with the upgrade on blink too. That was close.
Close indeed. But going back to what I was saying, you know, Tempest knows that if they go for the top push, they maximize value. So the next Immortal that they win, if they win it, will go directly to the keep wall. And this is cool because it was probably unlikely they were going to get anything but a keep wall in bot. If they pushed with it, then they wouldn't have gotten the top keep wall. So Tempest knows that they're very favored in terms of the objective because they've been winning it every time due to the fact that their comp is just designed to do that better, whereas L5's comp is designed to poke and then dive to get the kills to then win the objective, which is very difficult to do with the Tyrael pick, the Abathur pick. I like the way that Tempest is approaching the bigger picture here.
Yep, they did lose somewhat of the Immortal, but having Malthael on their page, look at the wave clear. It's not the best.
It's decent.
It's pretty decent. With the Shroud, you can have the Reaper's Mark onto multiple targets and also heal yourself. That's what makes his solo laning so powerful.
Well, next time SC doesn't have the recall, I think we'll see the judgment value a lot stronger. If he has used recall earlier for any reason, then it could be disastrous. Now, Sign juking and jiving with that really sick Aldruins. Will escape. Malthael gets the extra soak bot. Now Abathur's going to be doing just the same. So Abathur gets free EXP bottom while they look to team fight. You can be part of the team fight and be getting that EXP bot lane because Tempest allowed this shove to happen. Really intelligent play again. Having that global hero, having the understanding of how to use that.
Also, another pretty good spawn for L5.
Look at Sign's positioning.
He's coming in. He's looking for the kill.
Spotted.
Even Swoy does not have the ice block yet. They're down a talent.
Big problem. Okay, if they can force SC to recall, the judgment comes in, he dies.
They're looking for the timing for the judgment, yes.
They wanted it, but there was too much heals. He goes in actually onto the Malfurion. As you said, no ice block here. Swoy is down. That's no more healing. No Twilight Dream. It was canceled. He died so quickly. Couldn't even use it here. This is a huge problem. The dive composition team is now being dove. Lockdown going in deep to do that extra damage to SC. They do get the one pick here. SDE is going to be the next to burn down. Even with that fountain, he's so low. Barely survives, but it means that they're going to lose halftime. A 9k shield lead already for Tempest.
Yep, that's Malfurion is the target, of course. Even without the cleanse, it didn't matter. No ice block. Twilight Dream did not go off in time. It was cancelled because the catch was so quick. Tempest baiting L5. Seemed like they're going for Tracer at first, and then it's onto Malfurion, which is the perfect pick. Maybe next they're looking for Leeming. I don't know. That's onto their shot call. They have lots of threats coming in.
Well, this is going to be just the commitment to completing the Immortal with 21 shields, 21k shields, I should say. 21,051 current value. Sign is caught here, has judgment available, uses the Aldruins cleverly to escape. Asks for the assist pings here. They don't have the extra sanctification, which has made this more of a dive-oriented comp on the side of Tempest. They're looking for picks instead. So they do see Lockdown's clone expires. They didn't quite get the kill here, but they can backdoor it. Templars will finish here. Took a long time for that to actually finish. We're 13 minutes in. So yeah, they're just trying to get some of the shields down. They made it from 21k to 13k. Still a decently shielded Immortal. It's half shields. And it will actually take the bot approach where the keep wall is still somewhat standing. L5 has kept this game competitive, but eventually, if you lose all the objectives, you're going to get whittled away. If they make any mistakes, and I mean any, especially with judgment on the side of Tempest, they will lose this keep and potentially lose more. So they need to be very, very cautious about how they approach this. I like that they're attacking first before the Immortal even starts to come in.
That's right, and now they've got all the talents. 13's up. They got more damage, even nullification coming out from Tastar to basically the shrink weight, limiting damage coming out from Greymane, but it's not just one Greymane, it's two. You can't block out both of the damage coming out at the same time. Let's see if it helps any for L5 though.
Well, the wall's down now. Immortal going directly to the keep. See what Tempest prioritizes here. They're diving onto Swoy in the backlines. He has Ice Block now, though. Archon is popped here for L5. They want to turn this fight around. If they fail, though, it's going to be at the cost of their keep. And it looks like they're going to lose it no matter what here. Just not able to turn this one around. Not focusing the Immortal, trying to dive in, failing at doing so. Here comes a judgment onto SC. Doesn't have the recall. He goes down. Divine Shield here for the movement speed. The Abathur clone helping out here. Sorry, the Symbiote will help get the kill for Honkono. That's the double, and this may be game over on the side of L5.
And then L5 losing two of the members, Jongha and Swoy. Hooligan is trying to defend. Looks like, and they're going pretty low. Immortal is already down. They're looking for the shield is off. It's 90%. Let's see if that's enough. They do not have sanctification available, of course.
Hooligan's dead, though, and that should seal the deal. There's no way Swoy's going to defend this one. Honkono does lose his stacks here. SC comes out. And H82 is looking to finish this one off. The pulse bomb goes down. Is this going to be the hold?
But the shield comes out.
They do 1%. Not get it. The expiration of Tyrael's trait. They survive. Where is Kalera? I say, no, he must be near. He's probably in the other room. Kalera's casting the Korean commentator or something. Kalera's sitting at home, sipping some beer. He's yelling at his screen. He's casting it.
The blame is on Lockdown. He didn't come for the core race. He didn't come for the core.
Yeah.
Maybe his slap.
Where was the Slapather?
Slapather could have ended the game, I think. That could have been enough, but L5 is backing the game.
Report Lockdown for feeding. Lockdown was sitting in spawn. AFK reported.
But this is dangerous now, though. Tempest can backdoor any time because with the Avatar, if Greymane can just dive in with Tyrael, I think that could just be the game. L5, because their core is down to 1% with some shields, they have to be on defensive, passive ways. And if they have to be back, Malta will be on the Immortal. So I think it's very close to be game going to Tempest anyhow, but L5 can still turn this around. They have an opportunity here.
Man, I can't believe the Tyrael explosion didn't kill it. That's like so insane.
It's also the shields from Tastar that was keeping it. 1%!
1%. Well, the threat of the backdoor is obviously really scary. Also, the longer the team fight goes on, then it's so difficult for L5 to deal with the catapult pressure that's going to come down. They have the advantage with the Merc push in bot. They got that Shaman cap really well timed. But remember, this is now a scary moment because look at this. Already the push in the top forces them to back away. And even though they're halfway ahead in this Immortal phase, look at this with the clone coming in for lockdown. They just catch up immediately.
Wow,
saying the word race isn't even fair in this case.
Look at the number going down. That's crazy.
So they win it anyways. The top fort still not protected from these siege minions, so it might actually be.
That's game.
I mean,
just from the Immortal, I think that will be very close to be a game.
I mean, they almost lost the keep anyways. Some decision-making troubles on the side of L5. Yeah, because this is going to go directly to the core. They had the keep lived, but, you know, one swipe or one ranged shot from the Immortal with a little bit of poke coming out from Greymane will end the game,
but this
or end
time,
the keep.
They have to bring in the Avatar. That's what they need.
They need the Avatar.
Come on, Lockdown. You can do it.
I want to see some slaps. I want to see some slaps.
One shield used. Hooligan goes down, and no tanks in the front line. H82 has been soaking. Here comes Hong Kong. The Ice Block is going to buy time, but they don't even care. They're going for the core.
Okay, here we go. Core under attack. The Immortal's not even here. Where is Abathur? Where is he? Maldale goes down as KDA goes down, and that is going to be the core going down. And that is going to be the 2-0 lead for Tempest on match point now. They've gotten the better drafts both games in a row. You have to really feel the Abathur, Malthale, the Tyrael play they were given, and Greymane on this map. Why was L5 so willing to prioritize the Tasnar, the Tracer, over the Malthale? We tried to make arguments for it. We were casting the draft, but after watching the game, I don't think you can make those arguments anymore. You have to be critical of L5's prioritization of heroes on this map. It was the map pick of Tempest. Perhaps they knew the Malthale play. They knew how to win the objective better on this map. That's why they chose it. But as we go into this break, I think L5's going to have to gather their thoughts. Remember, as I said before, it was going to be a one-sided series. If you look at the old rosters, if you look at Phase 1, you look at this matchup, and even though it was number 1 versus most of the season number 3, Tempest got annihilated at both times.
That's right.
And now it's a close series, but L5 is on the losing end.
So Tempest, I think L5 also had a pretty good draft, but H82 really keeping the passiveness inside him. He didn't really go all in because he was melee. He knew the Tracer was the counter pick, and he really kept it cool with his teammate right next to it. And going in at the perfect moment, I think, was the key. H82 really holding in his power at the back line. Tempest really made it work together. L5, they couldn't really bring in the full potential because all of the positioning of H82, I feel like.
Well, these players are going to take some time to collect their thoughts and get set up here as the Task Tracer just did not work. We're going to find out what map we're going to, etc. after a short commercial break and some messages from our sponsors. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. Take a break.